Hello and welcome to Samuel Gicho's channel. I'm glad you are watching. Today, I would like us to talk about capacity. Capacity to receive and capacity to retain that which you have received. There is this story in the Bible in the book of 2 Kings, chapter number 4. It's about Elisha and a widow. This lady lost her husband who was a prophet, and she was left behind with her 2 sons. But the husband also left a huge debt, which was a big problem to this lady. In actual fact, the creditors threatened to auction her 2 sons, and therefore she went to Elisha to seek for a solution. And Elisha asked this lady, "What do you want?" And then before she could even answer that one, Elisha asks again, "What do you have?" And that is critical. Many times the solution for your issues is within you, not very far, but just around you. So this lady says that, "I do not have much, only some little oil that is remaining." And then she was told by Elisha to go in the neighborhood and borrow as many vessels as she could. She was told to borrow vessels. And she was told, "Don't borrow just a few, borrow many." So she started going for vessels. She borrowed many, not just a few. I am telling you also that the way you receive has a lot to do with your capacity. Borrow vessels, not just a few, but many. Get vessels. She kept borrowing vessels, not just a few. She borrowed many vessels. My neighbors are bringing vessels. They are good neighbors. She was told to borrow not just a few, but many vessels. Now, when she did this, she was told to cross herself with her sons in the house and to start pouring. And they poured. They poured into the many vessels they had borrowed until it was all over. When all the vessels were filled, the oil ceased. So her limitation was the number of vessels she was able to collect, the number of vessels she was able to borrow. And that's now where we are building it on capacity. She received according to her capacity. Let's think about capacity in 2 dimensions. Dimension number 1, capacity to receive. And I want to demonstrate that. If you are having this as your container, you can only receive this much. Even though the provision may be a lot, but your capacity is limited. So look at this. The supply is a lot, but the capacity is little. So even if the supply continued, it overflows, but you can only retain so much. There is need, therefore, to increase your capacity. To increase your capacity. Let me have that grass also. Get more capacity. Create more capacity. You will receive according to the size of your capacity. Now, if your capacity is this size, then you will receive. You will receive according to your capacity. But even if the oil kept pouring, and I'm using water, not oil, if the oil kept pouring, it would only go as much as the capacity is, according to the size, according to the room, according to the space of your capacity. It is important, therefore, for us to expand our capacity, our ability to receive. Another good example would be to think about a young child. Say you have a 3-year-old son, and you have paid their school fees and all their necessities, but now you want to give them some little pocket money. Talking in dollars, because I'm talking to the nations. How much money would you entrust unto them? $1, $100, $1,000. Of course, no responsible parent will give their 3-year-old $100. Maybe you can entrust them with $1 to go and buy sweets and stuff like that. But when they are of age, 18 years and above, now you can entrust them with more. What is your capacity? What is the heavens saying concerning you? How much can you hold? That is aspect number 1. But then there is aspect number 2, about once you have received, can you hold? I have this vessel here. This vessel can receive, and it can receive more than maybe the grass. But as you can probably observe, it is also leaking. It can receive a lot, but it cannot retain a lot because it is leaking. So we are going to look at the ability to receive and the ability to retain. I believe that the way you can expand your ability to receive, first and foremost, is by having the right self-image and by believing. You need to believe. You got to believe that you can. Then besides this, you need to have a vision, and you need to set goals, smart goals, goals that can be attained and goals that are achievable. Another way of expanding your capacity to receive is to be somebody who is ready to think. God has given us our minds. It is the greatest resource. Put it to work. Put it to good use. Think. 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 Another very good thing that we need to do is to be a people who ask questions. Questions don't demonstrate that you're ignorant. Questions demonstrate that you are willing to learn. If you don't know something and you ask a question, you cease from being ignorant to a student. Questions are very important. Let us be a people who are inquisitive, people who ask questions. Now, you are thinking, you get ideas, and then you also harness the talent and the gifts that are within you. But there is another very, very, very important aspect. You need to take action. Act on your dreams. Every dream is valid, but it is important to take a step of faith and act. Think big. Start small, but act now. Action is important. Do not procrastinate. Take action. I would also recommend that you get a mentor. Somebody who has traveled that route, who can show you the way. Somebody who can hold you accountable. So that now with a mentor you are able to travel fast and you can travel far. But as you get a mentor, it's also important to get a mentee. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But when you get an accountability partner, somebody who can ask you questions and tell you how to take stock of your life, that's very key. Let's come to number 2, capacity to retain that which you have already received. Now, this is very important. That's why we have seen some people climbing the ladder of success and then suddenly they come crumbling down because yes, they can receive, but they are not able to retain. Why? There are certain things that are very important. You have to be humble. Humility is key. All those people who have sustained a success for a long period of time, there is one trait that is common about all of them. They are humble. Humility, very, very, very important. Make sure that you do not take the glory, because taking the glory and wanting to be praised by everybody is the beginning of destruction, is the beginning of falling. Then there are those people, after they have accomplished some little things, they have this feeling that they have arrived. The feeling of arriving is also dangerous. It is important for you to raise the bar. The moment you have achieved certain goals, raise the bar a little high. It is Les Brown who said that the problem is not that we are raising too high and missing. The problem has been that we aim too low and hit. Raise the bar, raise the standards, because that is very, very important. Be hungry for more, be hungry for improvement, and then think about others. I'm told that the founder of the Salvation Army, on his deathbed, wrote one word: others. You are here because of others. You are here as a solution provider. So consider how you are going to give back to the society, how you are going to impact your generation in a big way, how you are going to leave a mark in the sands of time. It is important to have capacity to receive and capacity to retain. That's how we will be described as having been successful. And as we talked about mentees, when I'm watching football, I usually notice that these players, as they are coming from the locker room, they come holding young boys and girls into the field. They are mentoring them. Have somebody that you are mentoring. Give them the skills, pour your knowledge, deposit yourself in others, and that way you will become very successful. That is how you will leave a legacy. Thank you so much for watching this channel. I encourage you to subscribe to our channel and let us keep the conversation going. God bless you.